Aloha, Richard Halverson here, and I'm going to continue with assignment 4. And so let me share my screen. And so here we are. We're doing the QAC at Queen Anne Curiosity Shop Triggers and Procedures assignment. I just finished an earlier video here on part A, and you can see I added a link here. And I also included a link here to be able to go to the place where you test your stuff. And so right now we're going to do part B. Okay, so part B is a stored procedure, and it's a stored procedure that we're going to use with add sale. Stored procedure's name is add sale, and it is going to it's going to be a procedure that helps us add a sale to the database or add a sale item to a sale in the database. And so it'll also, the sale table, the records in the sale table keep a running total of what the total sale is as the sale items are being added, and this procedure takes care of that also. So the assignment: complete the stored procedure add sale, and it's going to input the customer ID, employee ID, the sale date, the item ID, the tax rate, the sale ID, the subtotal, the total, and then it's going to return the subtotal. It's going to return the total. It's going to return an error code if there's an error, and it'll also return a little message describing what happened, or describing what it did, more or less. And so it'll add. We see it'll add an item to a sale, and it'll return a subtotal and a sale. For a new sale, the customer ID, the employee ID, the sale, these must all be specified for a new sale. And for a new sale, first a new record is inserted into the sale table, and then an item, and then the item that you're adding, the first item of the sale, gets added to the sale item table. And so what we're talking about here is, let's go to our cPanel, and let me go to phpMyAdmin. And we are talking about the QACS database. And we have, for example, the sale table. And so sales 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And so if we look at, for example, I think sale number 8, one of these is pretty big. Let's look at the sale item table over here, and we see that, yeah, we see 8 and 10 have several items per sale, and the sale table looks like this. So if we so the sale table, you'll notice, has a subtotal and a total. So all right. So I have given you I've actually given you this is actually an export, or this is a code for importing. And so when we start this, let's start this. It's going to be a procedure called add sale. So let's just go. Let's go back to the database up here. Click the database, and then over here we click on routines. It's a routine. Maybe I should call it a routine. Click on routines, and here's where we add a routine. So I'm going to add a routine, and I'm going to name the routine. Let's go. Let me see if I can make this a little easier for you. All right, let me just do this. We've got a routine called add sale. I'm just going to copy this here like this. And it's procedure. And I have input variables. Do I tell you that up here? Well, anyway, it's input. That's in it. 1, 2. Okay, in. This says in. in, out, 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 and out. So we've got an in, in. We've got an in, out, and then we've got an out, out. How many outs? Out, 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 out. Let's make these outs. And we're going to name these things. I'm going to call this one customer ID. And it's an integer. And I'm going to call this one employee ID. And it's an integer. And I'm going to call this one sale date. It's date. I'm going to call this one item. I'm going to do this. I think I can do this. Okay, that helps. Sale date, item ID, and tax rate. What's in, out? Tax rate is in. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tax rate is an in. Tax rate is an in. And then we have the in, out. Sale ID. The reason that's in, out is because sale ID is an auto increment. So when you add a new sale, you have to go back and read what the new sale ID is, and this will return the new sale ID. So when you're adding a new sale, the sale ID is returned to you. When you're adding a sale item, you input the sale ID. All right, so that'll become clear. So that's why sale ID is an in, out. And then we've got an out subtotal. We've got an out total, and we've got an out error code, and we've got an out message. Oops. Message. And this is a varchar. I make it. What do I make it? 500. Oh, okay, 500. This is an integer. I'm looking at this integer decimal 82. This is a decimal 8,2. And this is also probably decimal 8,2. That would be a decimal number with that's a total of 8 spaces, not including the decimal point. And the 2 means the decimal point is two spaces, from the left end. So it's two decimal digit, a 2 decimal digit number. And this is what's this tax rate is? I make that decimal 6,3. And that's it. The rest of them. Oh, this is a date. Okay, good. So that takes care of the top there. That takes care of all the inputs and the outputs. And then let's say I'm going to do a begin. Enter, 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 end, enter, enter, and I'm going to see if this takes. Oh, good, it takes. All right, so back to editing. I'm going to try to copy just all this right in between my begin and my end, okay? Right here. Oops, oh, shit. Let me just copy this down to here. Copy, and I'm going to put this right here and see if I can paste that. And good, this is what we got. Now we've got a bunch of missing stuff there. I'm going to click go and see if it accepts it. No, it does not accept it. Okay, that's too bad. But so let's try to figure out what the deal is here before I give up on this. There's two begins. That might have something to do with it. Is there two ends? Oh my, there's two ends. Let's see if this has anything to do with anything. Go. Well, that's much better. All right. Now all we have to do is fill in the comments where we're supposed to add some stuff here. Let's see. So let's first of all, let's go back to our here and see if we can. Let's see what happens when we click on this procedure test here. See what that looks like, because we do have something in there now, and didn't work. Does a bunch of tests and stuff, and it doesn't look like we got any points. Okay. So let's go down the line here. Where is my assignment? Okay, here's the assignment. Okay, so we start out, this is the exception handler. Okay, that's good. We'll leave that alone. We set our error code starting equals 0. 0 means there's no error. We set the message equal to blank. And as we go along, we're just going to set the error. Okay, I see. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is you recall if the customer ID is not 0 and the employee ID is not 0, then it's a new sale. New customer ID, new employee ID, then it's a new sale. So that means we have to insert a record into the sale table. You see it says for a new sale, this has to be specified, this, and sale date. But when we're adding to an existing sale, when we're adding a sale item to an existing sale, then these are 0. And all we pass in is this stuff here. So this tests to see if if it's a new sale or not. So if it's a new sale, then we're resetting. No, this is wrong. We have to replace this, right? Okay, so this is going to be replaced with an error code if the insertion into the new sale table fails. We are looking for what error code to put here, and what is the appropriate error code? We are trying to insert a new sale into the sale table. So we've got a customer ID that's not equal to 0, and we've got an employee ID that's not equal to 0. And what could cause an error when inserting a record into the sale table? And that is if a customer does not exist. If you try to insert a sale record where the customer does not exist, or the employee ID does not exist, The reason for that is you recall that let me save this. You're inserting into the sale table, and if you look at the relation view, you see there you should have set up these foreign key constraints, and so the customer ID that's inserted has got to exist in the customer table. Same with the employee ID and the employee table. So so the appropriate error would be inserting sale, customer ID or employee ID does not exist. So we display out the employee ID or we display out the customer ID. One of those does not exist. We don't need to do much more than that. So, so let's go back to the routine, as they say, and let's edit this. And wish there was a way we could default this. Put this up here, and I'm going to go up and down a little bit. Okay, so we're talking about right here, and so that would be this. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to paste it right here. I'm going to first delete it, and then I'm going to do I'm going to do paste. Okay. Now, this might not be completely clear to you, but let me put the insert in there to insert new sale into sale table. So that would be insert sale into sale table. That'd be this one here. Insert sale into sale table. Copy. And it'll be a paste right here. Okay, so you see, we set the error message, and then we try to do the insert. If the insert doesn't work, then it's gonna cause an error. It's gonna cause an exception, and so then this exception handler will execute, and it's gonna say what everything is, and it's gonna stop, and it's gonna return an error message. It's gonna return a message here. There will be an error code, because that was the last thing that was set. There'll be an error code of 99, and the execution will stop someplace in there because the foreign key constraint was violated. All right, so but let's say it succeeds. Well, if it succeeds, we want to set the error code back to 0. We want to set the message back to 0. But what we want to do as soon as the insertion is done is we want to grab out what the sale ID was, because when you insert a new sale, I can't. Yes, maybe let's see what I go here. Let's see. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to open the link in a new tab, though. So now I can look at the sale table. I'm going to look at the sale table, and it's got an auto increment for sale ID, and I want to be able to grab that back. So let's go back here again. So we are right here. So we want a select statement there that'll grab out what the sale ID is, and that would be this one. Select last insert ID. That's what it happens to be. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put that over here, right in there. Okay, so this select statement is going to grab out the ID of the last insert. So that's a nice special select statement there. So it'll return what the sale ID was, the auto incremented sale ID. It's going to get stored in there. Error back to 0, message blank. Okay, great. Now here we're going to get the item price from this from the item table. Okay, so we're inserting an item. We're inserting an item into the sale item table, and along with that goes the price. So we have to go to the item table to grab out the price for that particular item ID. So this is gonna, so we're gonna grab out the item price, and it's gonna get set equal into there. And so what is the select statement to grab out the item price for this particular item ID? What is the statement for that? Well, it's going to be over here someplace. Select item price from item where item ID is equal to the input item ID. So we are talking about item table, and you notice there's an item price. So let's go back here and paste this one. Grab this item ID, copy, and go back to here, and we can paste that right here. Paste. Okay, so this is going to select out the item price. Now, if the item price is null, what does that mean? Well, we are going to assume. I just thought of this. We're going to assume that there cannot be a null value in the item price. By the way, can there be? Item price default none. No, it can't be null. So it's going to come back. It would come back 0. If there was nothing inserted in there, it would come back 0 because it cannot be null. Well, great. That's what we want, because if it comes back null, that means the item ID was not valid. That means there's no item. There was no item in there with that item ID. Well, if there's no item in there with that item ID, then let's see. If item price is null, then we're going to set an error message, and that is going to be item ID does not exist. So it's this error code. Copy. By the way, it says that up here. Doesn't it? Did I not put that up here? Oh well. No, I guess you should learn it by this right here. Okay. So that would be right here. It does not exist. So I'm going to paste this here like this. Paste. So the error code is 66. Item ID does not exist. Otherwise, we can set the error code back to 0 because we got the item price. It's right here. There's an item price in there now. We got that for this item ID, which means it exists. So we set that back to 0. We set this. Oh, no. We are inserting something into sale item. So we have to set up these error messages for when we are inserting something in the sale item, or what would that be? Let's see. We haven't used this one yet, have we? It's if we're inserting something into sale item and it doesn't work, that must mean that the item, that the sale ID was bad. It must mean that the sale ID does not exist. So it would be that error. Let's paste this here. Paste it. So here we are again. We're setting up the error codes in case the insert does not work. So let's put the insert in there. Insert into sale item. Right here. Okay, so we're inserting into sale item. We know that the item ID works. We know that that's valid because we have this. And so the only thing that can be wrong would be the sale ID. And so that would, if the sale item, if you look at the structure of sale item, look at the relation view, the sale ID has got to exist. That's what this foreign key constraint is. That's got to exist. So that means that if this insert fails, then it'll be because, oops, wrong one here. Shouldn't be. Oh, I copied the wrong one, didn't I? It should be this one. Copy. Paste. Oh, what happened? It's not letting me do it. Copy. Paste. Yeah, 44. So I set up the error code as 44, which is the error code if this insert statement does not work. If the insert statement does not work, the procedure, the exception happens, and it goes up here and it doesn't finish. And so the error code is going to last error code set was 44, and the last message set was this. So it's able to report through the message. And this is the code goes there. It's able to report. Okay, so if that insert is successful, then we're good. So we set the error code back to 0. We take away the message again, and now we have to sum up all of the subtotals, or we have to sum up everything in the sale item table for that particular sale. What I'm talking about is, let's say we're doing sale ID 10. Let's say we're inserting a new item into this sale. Well, we have to add up all these numbers here. We have to add these all up so we can go back into the sale table and put that sum right here. So we have to go sum up we have to go and sum the price, the item prices in sale item, in the sale item table. We sum those up, and that is the subtotal that would go right here. And then we're going to compute the tax and the total. So if we go back here, not here, here, we see that we first we have to sum up that subtotal. Well, that's going to be select the sum up the item price from sale item, where sale ID equals what the sale ID that came in. So this is the one. Let's copy this. Copy. And let's paste it right here. Okay. And here we multiply by the we multiply the subtotal by the tax rate. We get that. We multiply this, and then we add the subtotal. We add the tax to the subtotal, and we get the total. And then we have to update. We have to update the sale record. Now the sale record, even if it's the first sale item, the sale record is inserted in there. So there will be. So if we're all the way down to here, there will be a sale record for the sale that we're talking about. So we don't have to worry about that. So what would that be now? This would be update. Here, update sales. Set the subtotal equal to subtotal. Set the tax equal to the computed tax. Set the total equal to the computed total, where sale ID is equal to what we have internally as the sale ID we're working with. So let's copy this, copy, and I'll put that right here, paste. And I do need that semicolon. Okay. I gotta make sure all these semicolons are there. Semicolon there, semicolon there. Okay, anyway, so that looks like that's it. Let's see if this takes. Oh, yes, nice. All right, well, let's just go back here and let's do a refresh. Basically, I'm going to click here and I'm going to click on logged in. I'm going to click on this one, procedure test. And let's just, oh, I didn't get all the points. All right. Okay, so I see what my error is. If you take 4,300 and you divide it by 202.53, which is what came back, you do not get 4.712. You only get 4.71. What I'm saying is that when I computed the tax on 4,300, I only seem to have used 4.71 instead of 4.712, which is why I got only 202.53 instead of the 11 cents. Somehow 11 cents was lost. Well, if we take a look back at, let's edit this, our add sale procedure, and I put this over here. I want to see where my error actually came from. The error is right here. The tax rate. The tax rate should be 6,3. Don't I say that someplace? Oh, here I say tax rate is 6,3 tax rate. Okay, so yes, I did make that mistake. If I change this to 6,3, and do go, that's all I did. Change it to so it looks at one more decimal place. Now when I hit refresh, okay, so we have this error here, and I think it could be because I went back and looked at the code, and gotta be an easier way to do this. When you've declared variables up here, that's, see, I used the @ subtotal there, and I used an @ subtotal here, but this, oh, I know the problem. I see. You notice that I have an internal variable here, which is indicated by the @ in front of it. This is one way to make internal variables, where they're kind of declared on the fly. In MySQL routines, you can also declare them up at the top. But when you use this form, you notice I used the I put an @ there, and that's not really what I want, because I want to use this one up here. And when variables are declared up here, I don't put an @ But basically, what this did was this declared a new variable, and as a result, this never got set because let me just take that @ out of there and take this @ out of there. Got my @ there too. I gotta get rid of that. Okay, that's better. All right, save this. Now we go back here and let's refresh this. And all my errors are gone. Got all the points. Okay. All right. Hope that helped. Thanks for watching.